My name is Cami McLaren. I am the founder and head training person for Transformative Coaching Essentials, and I'm here with people who have gone through many years of the program just to answer some questions that we get. In fact, I posted on Instagram and I asked people what their questions were, and so we have real live questions today, which is kind of cool. I think what I'm going to do is ask you guys just say your name and say what year you went through the program. So I'll call on you around my screen. Stephanie.
So I'm Stephanie Alston, and I went through McLaren Coaching's training program in 2023 to 2024.
Okay. Austin.
Good evening, Austin Skelton, and just like Steph, I went through the program 23 to 24.
Wendy.
Hi, I'm Wendy Green. I went through the program in 2020.
Paul Briley.
Paul Briley. I went through the program in 2021 to 2022.
Vida.
Hi, I'm Vida Thomas, and I went through the training with Austin and Steph in 2023, 2024.
Okay, good. Thank you. So the first question I'm gonna ask is, how has learning the skills of coaching supported you if you already have an established profession? So I know that to the most degree, like other than Paul, I would say, Paul, you're an entrepreneur and you do many things, but the rest of you have a day job, an established profession. So who would like to answer how going through this program helped you in that profession?
Yeah, I can start it off, Cami. So for me, my day job is I'm a full-time attorney. I do employment and labor work for plaintiffs, so I represent people, and in my business of just client services and just talking with my clients on a daily basis. How the program really helped me was really enhance my ability to empathize and listen to my clients in a more enhanced way. So what I mean by that is, so for example, right, if I'm having a consultation, or even if I'm just trying to give a client an update and advise them on some case strategy, it's so much easier having gone through the program and having really enhanced my skill of, reflective listening, and also just being even more curious about, a client's viewpoint, as opposed to just, walking into a call with, all right, I know the answer, I know the likelihoods of success, I know this area of law well, and, given the particular facts of a situation, this is what we should do. But instead of jumping right to that, it's really helped me just pause and, further see my client's point of view, and also to understand what's like important to them from a emotional perspective as it pertains to the case, and not just like a legal, how do we win, or how do I increase the chances of me getting more money. So it's really helped me to really connect and provide better services to my clients.
Yeah, it sounds like you're saying from a personal human relationship aspect, like the ability, I mean, there's a crossover, right? Like there's how creating rapport, I think, but also the curiosity, it sounds like, helps you have better relationships with them, but also learn what you need to learn. Instead of so many professionals, not just lawyers, walk into a situation. I have doctors do this all the time with me, or a veterinarian did it with me the other day. Like, here's what we're going to do, and never stop talking, never ask me like a single question about anything. Yeah. Who else?
I'll share.
Yeah,
So
Steph.
I'm a small business owner, and in particular, I'm a yoga teacher. And so my industry is really interesting. And I went through the training program for coach style leadership skills so that I could better manage my team. And I came out with so much more than that. But the way that it's enhanced my current profession is being able to see challenges when they arise, different communication styles, and really being able to navigate from a more personal level. I really resonated with what Austin said about the empathetic listening, and just being able to really see the situation from a bird's eye view. Instead of getting caught up in the conflict or us drifting together, I can see now more clearly, where did the breakdown in communication happen? What needs to be repaired? And then to articulate that with clear requests. It's just changed the whole dynamic of my working relationship with contractors and colleagues and employees on my team.
Yeah. So for you in particular, it sounds like in a leadership role, like running the studio, and yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Does anybody else want to go before I ask a different question?
Yeah, I'll just share quickly to kind of build on what Austin and Stephanie have shared. Even though I'm self-employed, my background is in corporate training and development, workshops, facilitation, public speaking. And I thought I was already, I'm already certified and a professional in those areas. And I thought I was already at the top of my game. Learning the skills of the coach really took my facilitation skills to another level in terms of the questions that I ask, how many questions that I ask. And to give you a succinct example, it used to be I'm in a workshop and I ask a question to get a certain answer, and then I would move on to keep the content flowing. Now I ask another question to understand more about the answer that I got. So not only does that give me a lot more information and make the experience more interactive and engaging, but I'll tell you, my evaluations from all of my workshops and seminars since I've been trained as a coach have been far and above what they were beforehand, just because of that, I think.
Yeah, the thing that jumps out at me from all of what you guys are saying is like how you relate to people as people. Like how you, like even in trainings, I've seen this, Paul, like where somebody asks a question, you answer the question, they move on, like as if they, I'm not saying you did this, but like as if they didn't hear it, like as if it was just a checkbox instead of really landing with a person and like interacting with what they're actually saying to you. Yeah. Okay, I have another question. Why did you choose to become a certified coach? What brought you to this program? So I'll Vita or Wendy.
I'll go. I'm happy to go. Well, I'm an attorney too, and I own a law firm where I'm the managing partner. Um, I've always been a bridge builder. I'm one of those people who likes understanding people coming from different perspectives and helping people understand each other. And to me, coaching is sort of an offshoot of that, helping someone give themselves grace so that they can understand what is underneath, the struggle, right? Why is it that they have this great goal that they're passionate about, but they're not achieving it? And part of it is because I'm an attorney, I'm analytical, I'm inherently insecure, so I never feel like I have enough knowledge or training for them to do something. And so I was like, yes, I could actually get a certification, to hang a shingle. But the beautiful irony is that McLaren coaching, the 1-year program, is so much more than getting the certification. That is like, I don't even know if I'd call it icing on top. It's like the cherry on top of the icing, because the cake is the program. I had no idea what I was in for, how much I would grow, how much I would learn to be comfortable just letting people see who I really am. Because so much of my career, to be a successful lawyer, to be taken seriously as a young lawyer, then to be taken seriously as a Black female lawyer, was always about being as professional as possible and putting on the armor and having, my A game, and not letting anyone see any cracks, right, behind the mask you often feel you have to put on when you go to war for your client. And spending a year in this program, partly being coached by Stephanie, partly working with Austin, little by little, layer by layer, I sort of felt like a flower that was kind of a bud that was opening up, letting people see who I really am. So I feel like my firm really benefited that the Vita who's shown up a year later is this more authentic, not just more authentic, but more comfortable, letting people see who I really am.
Yeah, Vita, I so appreciate you saying that, because I watched that happen. We all watched that happen. Like, and I appreciate that you're saying that the firm benefits by you being more authentically yourself. Why do you say that is?
Because as a leader, you have to go first. You know,
Mm.
those who are following you are going to do as you do. And indeed, I was just doing what I had been taught by my mentors, you know, my lawyer mentors. Um, and so a number of them have come up to me. They haven't necessarily connected it to, oh, is this the coaching class with Cami? But have said, you seem different. You seem
Mm.
comfortable being who you are. And that tells them that they can be comfortable being who they are.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I mean, it's so it's not counterintuitive, but it's counter, I think, to what is out there a lot of the time, like how we're told we're supposed to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wendy, what brought you to coaching?
So I think mine was a little bit different. I had done some coaching work 10 or 15 years earlier with you through SourcePoint training. And even back then, I felt a little bit of a call, but the timing just wasn't right for me. And then I found myself just kind of really disconnected from my life and disconnected from my career. And I wanted to do something different that would help me get connected again. And I remembered, you know, that you had gone through training. And so I reached out to you to talk about your training. And we ended up talking about Transformational Coaching Essentials. And a month later, I was enrolled in the program.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was it that you wanted to get from going through the program?
Well, it was really kind of connecting, like remembering and relearning, if necessary, how to connect with other people, because I just felt disconnected. I, too, am a lawyer. And one of my strengths as a lawyer has always been kind of my client relationships. And I didn't even feel connected to those. I mean, I just didn't feel connected to any people, to my career, to my family, to myself. I just didn't feel connected at all.
Yeah. And what was the result of going through the program in regard to that?
Oh, connecting everywhere. I mean, I'm constantly connecting with myself. I'm connecting with my kids. I'm connecting with strangers on the street. I'm connecting with my clients, both on the lawyer side of things and on the coaching side of things. I'm connected everywhere now.
I should probably say, as I say so often when people ask me this question, you do not have to be a lawyer to go through this program.
Yeah, since there's three
People
of us
honestly
here.
ask me that because, you know, so many of y'all. So, okay, so that it's not so long, let me just ask one more question. I think I just want to ask each one of you, what was the biggest thing you got out of going through this program?
I can go first. The biggest thing I got from going through this program was learning how to be accountable.
What does that mean to you?
I was going to say, and it was a word that I thought I knew, because and it had a negative connotation for me. Being accountable meant taking the blame and getting in trouble. And I learned through you and through the coaching that being accountable is about respecting myself enough to keep the agreements that I make. That was a big journey for me. I would break agreements and come up with very logical excuses for why I wasn't able to keep the agreement. And it was through TCE that I learned that you're letting yourself down most of all when you break an agreement and then don't take accountability for it. That, you know, the injury isn't breaking the agreement. We're all human. The injury is breaking the agreement and yet moving on and not acknowledging it and not, you know, doing what's necessary to negotiate a new agreement with that person. Again, because I had so much shame around breaking the agreement in the first place. And as Cami knows, when I feel shame, I go radio silent. So that was really huge. I'm still practicing. I'm still having to kind of not let that old tape, you know, take over that says, oh, you know, I forgot this thing or I didn't answer that email or whatever, and wanting to just kind of run before it catches me.
Yeah. Can you say just one or two words about what has been the benefit of learning accountability for yourself?
it strengthened the trust in all of my relationships. So not just
Mhm.
with my law partners and the people I'm supervising, with clients, but with my husband, with my children, especially my children. I have to be honest, with kids, it's so easy to shine them on because you have that
Mhm.
power dynamic over them. And so
Mhm.
it's so easy if you break an agreement with them to kind of ride out that power dynamic to basically say, stop getting so worked up. Mom's
Yeah.
busy, mom had this is what happened, et cetera, et cetera. So for them to see me come to them and say, hey, I didn't keep that promise I made to you. I want to acknowledge that. And, can we make a new agreement? Because I know this is really important to you. Let's talk about that. That's really like been transformative for them. And so I'm really grateful
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
did that.
Thank you. Thank you. It really is a thing we talk about. All the things, the benefits of accountability, but trust building is like a big, big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Who's next?
I'll go. For me, I think the biggest kind of mind-blowing thing that happened to me was learning how to be neutral and recognizing when I'm not neutral, both with other people and with myself. Because, one of the things we talk about the very beginning of the program is where your judgment is and what your worldview is and that kind of stuff. And I just really didn't have any self-awareness about how I looked at the world. And I really didn't have any self-awareness about how maybe I wasn't judging other people so much, but man, was I judging myself all the
Mm.
time, constantly. And so the big benefit for me was learning how to recognize when that's happening and get myself to a neutral place so that everything doesn't wound me, so that everything doesn't make me mad, just kind of get to that neutral space where I can be accountable and I can develop trust and I can connect. I can do all those other things that I want to do. For me, it comes from learning how to be neutral.
Yeah. And when you say neutral, like lack of self judgment, or at least awareness of self judgment, and
Yeah.
intervening with that. Who else?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I can oh,
Nope,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Austin.
You got it. So yeah, I'll piggyback off of what Wendy was saying. It's definitely self-awareness for me. What the biggest things that I took away from the training early on was just being able to sit back and really just observe like my thoughts and how I react to things. And like Wendy was saying, from a neutral and non-judgmental standpoint, and just be curious about, myself and why certain things either bother me or excite me, or why I have a tendency to do this or to not do this, or like Vito was saying, when it's time to hold myself accountable, why do I all of a sudden get stuck in the state of paralysis, and it's harder for me to take action. It really opened up a new perspective for me to be curious about myself, and just have a greater sense of self-awareness. That was my objective in terms of joining TCE and completing the program, was ultimately to really be engaged in like a journey of self-growth. And that was a big part of it, was just better understanding myself and learning to be kinder to myself as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love how many people say learning to be kinder to myself. Like just that. Just that. Paul, Steph, Paul.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I share some of these things that others have shared about the whole personal growth and self-development. And that was my main objective for joining, was kind of like that inward journey. But I think the most significant thing that has had a whole lot of ripple effects is this premise, one of the presuppositions of coaching, which is that people don't need to be fixed, that people are able and capable and can tap into the resources within themselves. My whole career, and even before that, my childhood and my personal life, is all about people pleasing and fixing and solving and being people's helper and all of that sort of thing. And I didn't realize how much of that I was using in my career and in my work. And I was also rewarded for that. Oh, Paul has the answers, or Paul will figure it out, and so on and so forth. And so the training challenged me to kind of not necessarily undo that programming, but to put it in its place and recognize that it doesn't belong everywhere, and then appreciate what others can do for themselves, and being more of a facilitator instead of a fixer or a solver or an answer giver. And
Yeah.
that's had effects both in the work and outside.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's obviously obvious to you guys. One of the biggest things that people get to like move through is the desire to fix other people. But it is the thing that if you move through allows other people to be themselves and manage their own answer. Steph?
It's hard to identify one thing in particular that was a big takeaway from this program, because I can't think of any area of my life that hasn't been touched by the skills that I learned here. I came in for the business skills to be a good business owner and leader and professional, and that certainly has helped. But as a mom to 3 young kids, as a friend, like, I can't think of any area of my life that I don't use these skills to, like others mentioned already, connect with others. I feel like I'm genuinely able to see people from a much less judgmental place. I have genuinely shifted the way that I approach a lot of my relationships and dynamics in the workplace and at home. So I think my biggest takeaway of all has been like the way that I see myself in relationship with others, and the way that I relate to myself first, to really check in and notice like where I'm coming from, what my motivation is in any interaction, where I might need to put more pause or get some coaching if I'm stuck in a pattern that I can't seem to get out of. It's just like the gift that keeps on giving. So that's been one of the biggest surprises that I wasn't expecting from this program.
Good. Thank you. Wow. I love hearing all this. So, thank you guys for doing this.